today we've decided to dig a couple of holes and then bury some money in them. Come watch. Kind of laughed that they put their name on the side of it.
She was like, woohoo, it's happening! So she's excited.
Got the riser on. It's a 1,700 gallon tank. We're only putting one riser on. We're not going to do the second one. I don't think there's a need for it. Lots going on here today. Excavators are out digging trenches and holes. We're getting our septic in and our cistern. I have been working on getting the hole through the foundation. Basically, I had to drill a whole bunch of little holes, and then I used like the rotary chisel and chiseled it out. So I'm gonna have to seal the hole around it still. I'm sure there's some good products out there for that, but I'll pick that stuff up. And then I'll foam in here before I put the wall on it. So that's got to connect up to the main line here. Of course I ran out of parts, so Jess ran in to get me another elbow. But that's going to drop down, connect into this, and then we'll go out to the outside and take a peek out there. So we're just walking around to the back of the house, past my partially finished deck. So they've buried most of the tank. It's about 2 feet underground. Still not buried here because I still have to connect it to the house, but it's got a 2-foot riser, and then you can see some 3-inch foam board. We put that over top of it, extending way past the edges of it, and then buried it 2 feet. So nothing should freeze in there. Our frost line is only about 18 inches here. With sand, it doesn't really freeze too much. So on the septic side, so this is where I'm coming out of the house from inside. What I'm thinking of doing is putting on this this sanitary tee, and running it up before I transition to the PVC that runs to the septic tank there. What I'm thinking, by doing this, by transitioning, and then if I cut this pipe just below grade, just slightly below grade, and put a screw cap on it, then if for some reason there's a clog between the tank and the house, instead of having to use, a snake or something from the inside and then getting shit and everything all over the place, I can do it outside. So it's actually the building inspector kind of mentioned that offhandedly the one day, so I'm thinking of doing that. When I drilled out, the hole on the inside is nice and neat. When I drilled out, I should have did it the opposite way around, but when I drilled out the hole, it all blew out on the outside, right? Really made a giant mess. So like I say, I'm gonna have to get some kind of a product to fill in this gap around here, and then I'll patch that cement work before we bury it again so it doesn't leak. I have to drill a hole to get this pipe through still. Yeah, I have to drill another hole to get that through, and then I have to drill a 3-inch hole here to get the water line through. And then I also need to, somewhere over here, I also need to drill a small hole for the discharge of the sump pump. And I want to run that just below grade, slope it way out to the outside of the hill there, but might as well get all these holes drilled now.
So,
here we are again.
so Kirk's gonna drill a hole into the water tank, which better go right the first time, because it's not coming out.
Version 1 was better. So this is our 1,700 gallon water tank cistern. It's about $2,100 or something like that, so it's pretty expensive, plus the cost of the excavator to get it into the ground. It's only partially buried right now because we got to do all these plumbing fittings. So we have 3 of these bulkheads. They got a gasket on it, and they have to be drilled through the wall. They make these flat ends on these things so you can so all these things can hook up to it. So we need 3 of these. There would be one there, and then one up top here for a vent, and then a very small version of this for the electrical, for the pump and all that kind of stuff that's in there. One of these will be for the water in from the well. One of them will be water out into the house, and then the electrical obviously to run all the pumps and stuff. And then I want to leave space up here because probably next spring when we're working on east troughs, we're going to cut a big 3-inch one of these in up here to be used for rainwater collection. So it's a little nerve-wracking drilling the holes, but whatever, I've drilled a hole before. No going back. Watch the battery die.
On the drill or the camera?
Yeah, on the drill. Why is this thing so wonky? I think somebody might have used this as a pry bar at some point.
Not me.
One.
Whoa.
One there. One there. Do some scientific measuring here. Okay, just the tip. Okay. Yeah.
Wait for it. Oh. That do it?
Yeah, pull it right through.
What do you mean pull it right through?
Keep pumping. Till it won't pump anymore, and then just pull.
What do you mean just pull?
Just pull the whole contraption out now. Okay. Oh. You need the washer, or the nut. So this is, I'm down inside of the cistern. It's like a submarine down here. They're actually, sorry, it's very echoey. So they have these pilings in the middle, and when they backfill this, they fill these with the sand and the dirt, like from around us. So these actually help to hold the tank up when they're empty. They're kind of a neat little setup. We put a 2-foot riser on this side. And there is a hatch down there that could have had a riser, but we just buried it. We don't need 2 entrances into this. So we got most things installed now. 2 water lines on the bulkheads here. So we got, this is the water in from the well. This is going to be hooked up to the jet pump, or to the submersible pump. So that'll be the water going into our house, to the pressurized system. This is all of our electrical stuff here. It comes out there and then rises up this post to a box, like a junction box. It'll also have a receptacle on it. And this post is about, I don't know, 3 feet out of the ground once we backfill everything. So a convenient place to put like a GFI outlet and tie in the well pump and stuff like that. The last hole there, I'm just waiting for, supposed to get my last bulkhead today, supposed to be dropped off. And then that will connect up to a vent that's going to rise up the back of this pole to just keep the pressure equalized in there. So they just kind of lay out on the ground and then run over here and then go through that pipe there. I just filled the pipe with spray foam. And then I'm going to put some dirt over and around it, and then I'm going to take this piece of deacher board here and tuck it up underneath that slit there so the water kind of sheds off of it. I used hydraulic cement. I covered most of them, but you still see this one. I used hydraulic cement to fill the holes where all these things puncture or penetrate into the house. And then I'm just cutting small pieces of deacher board, kind of wrap around it to to shed the water so it doesn't even get to that. I could tar those things, but the directions say to wait 21 days before painting it or anything, so I'm sure that tar is the same way. So I'm just going to leave them be. I don't think with sand, we don't really get a lot of water anyway, so I don't think it's going to be a big issue. This penetration here, once I get all the connections made inside, I'll also spray foam in there. It's also stopping any bugs from getting into the house, but every little bit to stop it. I still have to do the plumbing for the inside, like the well in the well pump in there. I have the stuff, most of it. So I've got the well. This is the pump here. The directions say, this is just a piece of 4-inch ABS. The directions say to put, if it's not in a well casing, if it's in an open container like that, to actually put a 4-inch pipe, 4 or 6-inch pipe around it, so that it draws the water from underneath. The intake's actually up here on the pump, and then the motor's down here. But they tell you to do this so the water gets drawn up past the motor to keep it cool. So I cut this piece of 4-inch pipe, drilled holes in the bottom, so this will sit on the bottom of the tank, and then it can draw the water in from here and cool the pump. And it also solves my problem of how to mount this into that tank, because it's really heavy. And there's nothing to support it to in there. So by doing this way, it can sit on the ground, and then the pipe connected to the outlet there will stop it from going back and forth kind of thing, side to side. And then the cable, this can run up and will come out that conduit into my junction box. Of course I'm out of parts, but this is another check valve. There's one in the pump already, but they say to add a second. So that's going to go there, and then a piece of pipe going up, and we'll connect up to the outlet there. Again, I ran out of parts. I think we went into Home Hardware yesterday twice, because it's just so many different parts of this project. I can never remember, or I never remember everything I need. And even if I think I do, then I always forget something anyway. So I'm just going to start a list and leave this for right now. Maybe the end of the day I'll run into town, but there's a lot of stuff in the basement to do, so I might go down there now and start. I got to get a sheet of plywood up and hook the water up from the pump house through the basement, and then probably mount all the equipment on the walls, just so I can kind of figure out exactly what I'm going to need for plumbing and all that kind of stuff. But I also went along with the output to the well, or sorry, from the septic, from the house going out there. I went along and used a level the whole way and made sure I had my proper fall to the tank. Just going to let some of those connections, the glue, dry up a little bit, and then we'll dump some water from like the bathtub or something upstairs, just to check the fall and make sure everything's working as it should. It is Monday. I thought my guys would be back working on the bed today, but they're not, which isn't a big deal. I got a lot of things I have to finish anyway. I'm pretty close to being, that they could backfill all this now, but yeah, it'd be nice when it's done, but just keep checking along. Alright, so yesterday we got quite a bit laid out here in the mechanical room. So this line here comes from the well, goes up out this 3-inch pipe, and fills the cistern, so that'll happen overnight on a cycle. And then this pipe here is from the well pump, or sorry, from the cistern pump, the submersible coming in. I've got everything kind of laid out here on the wall, just so I knew what kind of space I have. But basically what happens is it's going to come up from here, go into a whole home filter. From the filter, it goes into the pressure tank. Now this is a PSI kick, so you can use one of these I think it's a 4 or 4.5 gallon tank instead of one of those big giant tanks that takes up all kinds of floor space. And this will keep the water pressure at 50 psi. Anyone that lives in the country will know what I'm talking about. The well pumps and all that, they're great, but they're not consistent. So when your pressure tank is fully charged and your well kicks, or you turn on a tap, it's great pressure that slowly drops off from 50 down to about 30, and then the well pump kicks on and it jumps back up. What this device does is keeps that keeps the pressure at exactly 50. It doesn't cycle up and down, which is much nicer and good. And you can raise it up to 60 and all that, so it's just like city pressure, but 50 psi is more than enough. So then anyway, so it's gonna come up with 1-inch pipe, connect into that, and then it comes out the side of the, that's where it's pressurized. From there, the piping is gonna run over, this isn't assembled yet, this is the iron filter. So it's gonna come over as a 1-inch pipe into the iron filter. From the iron filter, it goes into the UV sterilizer, and then the UV sterilizer comes out and will feed both the hot water tank into the cold side. There's two options, one there, one on this side, down in there. And it'll also feed, I have to build a manifold that goes here to turn on and off the cold water. And these are all the zones in the house as far as the water goes. Each bathroom has their own, kitchen has one, so you could just turn off one room at a time. From the top of the tank, again, two options, one on that side, one on this side. It's going to come up and feed the exact same thing on the hot water side of the manifold. The only other thing that's not on the wall yet is the RO system, and we use the RO system for both our saltwater fish tank and for our drinking water. The iron filter also has the water softener kind of all combined into it, so it's kind of nice to have all that there. I went into our local home hardware today, and it's a great store. It's a country store, right? That's meant for like cottagers and home renovators, not for house builders. So all this copper that I'm putting in here is all 1-inch to start, the main lines and all that kind of stuff. And they don't have any 1-inch supply parts or anything. So I'm not going to be able to do that today. I'm going to have to go into Owen Sound or something like that. But there's still lots to keep me busy. I'm going to try to get the cistern filling. We're only going to be doing it at night, so it's going to take, it'll probably take a few days to fill it up. But I got to get all the float switches in and all that. So that's what I'm working on today.